Hi, this is going to be maybe a strange video, but I just want to talk. That was basically the point of this channel when I created it years ago. I just wanted a place where I could just talk about whatever is on my mind, whatever is my current interest, or whatever is currently bothering me, and I just want to talk to somebody about it, but I have nobody to talk to about it. So, as you may have seen, I haven't posted a video in a few months, and it's because a lot of stuff has been going on. And now when it's slowing a bit down, well, it's not really, but it's I'm at a state where I could in theory be making videos again. I just don't have time because I have a new job where I just do night shifts, and I'm just awake during nighttime when I shouldn't be recording because people are sleeping, right? I don't want to bother my neighbors. I don't want to bother my roommate. It's mostly because of my roommate. Even if I was fuck my neighbors, my roommate would probably, beat my ass if I was talking to a camera at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. They just want to sleep. So I can't really record videos because of my schedule, and I'm awake only during the night now, basically. But I genuinely really like working at night because I finally don't feel so sick when I'm at work, because I just cannot I cannot function early in the morning. I cannot function during midday because I just genuinely feel really sick when I'm doing physical labor during those hours. If I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm supposed to do physical labor at 5, 6 a.m., I want to throw up. I feel so sick. I get migraines. I get dizzy. I just feel very, very tired and sick. When I have these night shifts, I'm fine waking up at 4 p.m., going to work, and at 6, 7 p.m. doing physical labor. It's fine. My body is okay. Even though it's theoretically the same thing as I was doing during morning shifts, my body just is fine when I do it at night for whatever reason. But because of it, when I have a day off, I will wake up at around 5 or 6 p.m. and my roommate is at home, and they mostly have people over or doing something. So I don't want to record videos because I'm they can fucking hear me, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. And even though they're oh, I don't mind, I just still, I don't know, I just have this block inside of me. I cannot be truly myself, and I cannot not be that anxious if I just know they can hear me. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out because I really want to do more visual novels. I really want to do more videos. Currently it's 7 a.m. My roomie's gone to work, and I just couldn't fall asleep. And I'm going to work in a few hours. But I was I just want to make a video because I have so many thoughts. There's so many things that are weighting me down, and I just really want to talk to somebody about them. And hopefully it just makes me feel a bit better, because every day I just think about these things and I'm fuck, I'm gonna go insane. I just don't have time for therapy, basically. God, ever since the last video, it was 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I think I streamed, and that's where I talked a bit about what's going on with me. But I ended up being distracted all the time, so I didn't really say much. But at the time, I got a new job, and I got a new job 4 months ago. By this point, it's nearly been 5 months ago. I got a new job because I was working at a different place, and they only gave me a contract for half a year. And after half a year, they were like, you just need to find another job. So I was like, for that half year, I was just desperately trying to like find a new job. No fucking jobs would take me because of certain things. They would be like, oh, you live too far. What the fuck do you mean? I live like 2 cities away. I can travel. And they were like, oh, but you won't travel, will you? And I'm like, but I will. Why do you think I won't travel? And they're like, well, we don't expect people to travel. And I'm like, why do you like judge people based on like your own expectations? Like, if I say I'm willing to travel, that I'm willing to travel. Like, just because I live like 2 cities away or like 30 minutes away, oh lord, who would ever travel 30 minutes to a job? I could not fathom. Yeah, genuinely, jobs well, like, we're not gonna take you because you're like 30 minutes away, and there's like no way you're going to travel for 30 minutes. I've traveled for 4 hours to a job every fucking day. 5 days a week. Maybe sometimes 6 if I was like feeling crazy. I used to travel for 4 hours every work day to a job. 30 minutes is like a pee break to me. I don't fucking care. And I would like, if they wouldn't respond to my emails or to my calls, like after I called them and was like, yeah, I live here, I can do this and that, and they wouldn't call me anymore, I would like call them or like message them like, you do realize I can travel. There were jobs that I was like, I do not need a driver's license to do. I can make car parts without having a driver's license. I'm pretty fucking sure. If you taught me how to make those car parts, I'm pretty fucking sure I could make them. And it's like, a person with a driver's license isn't going to know how to make like specific screws for a car any more than I am. You know, like, come on. Like, just because you're like, oh, what if sometime, like someday, maybe you will need to move like a car or two. I'm like, well, then I won't. I'll just be making the parts. Somebody else will move the fucking car for me. You know, it's not that crazy. Most jobs genuinely just like would not even reply to my email, or they would be like, send us a picture of yourself. And then they wouldn't reply, and I'd be like, I know what you're doing. Say it to my face, you know, like, say it to my fucking face that I just don't look professional, or don't look good in your opinion, or like, you think I'm like racially ambiguous or something. Like, say it to my fucking face, you know, like, don't be a coward. If I try to do my hair in a way that most people around me have it, if I try to wear clothes that most people around me have, if I try to just look the same way that most people look, I just genuinely think I just would not look good. I just have such like a body type that's like, it just doesn't look good in nearly any clothes. Like, it needs like specific clothes to look good, or like to just be eye-catchy enough to take the attention away from other things. And with my hair, like, I'm currently growing it out because like I have a vision. I'm like, I want this specific type of hair, and I'm gonna grow it out until I get that hair. So currently I look like a hentai protagonist, but I don't fucking care because I'm growing out my hair and I'm getting the hair that I want. But I'm like trying to do with my hair things that make me look the best they can, because like if I did just like short spiky hair, I would look fucking horrendous. Like, I have a big head. If I did like short spiky hair or like the fucking bird's nest, I would look so god awful. Like, I would genuinely look terrible. Or if I did like, you know what's pretty popular now, highlights and like wavy long hair with like no fringe, just, or like a slicked back ponytail, I would look fucking terrible too. So it's like, I'm just trying to do what's the best I can. So it's like, you know, it just feels a bit shit that with me doing the best that I can, it's just like, just people don't like it, and they're like, no, you are not worthy of even a job just because you're like trying to do the best you can with what you have, because you just don't look like everybody else. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be ugly though. So yeah, it was really depressing. But eventually I found a job. Maybe that was like a red flag, like, wow, I found a job that would take me in. Maybe that was like the red flag that I should have seen. But I was too desperate. I was like, I just need a fucking job. Like, I'm so desperate. I genuinely just need whatever job. Like, I will work in the mines. I don't care. Give me a job. So basically, what the job was they advertised it, and like they told me about it, that they are like a clothing company. And they sell clothes, and my job is to get a customer's order and process it and pick out the clothes or the accessories or anything that the customer has ordered, put them in this sort of like plastic tray, and with a scanner, scan it and be like, yes, this order is for this specific person, and send it out to the person who will package the clothes and the accessories and stuff into a box or into a bag and send it to the customer. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a splendid job. Fun, easy, no problem. I can do that. It was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. I mean, no, actually, it was the worst job I have ever had. Genuinely worst job I have ever had. Even the job where after the second day, people to my face said that they would rape me. This job was probably worse. Just because of the fact that you just couldn't escape it. Like, you just couldn't go outside. You couldn't go anywhere. Nobody was there to help you. You couldn't call anyone. You were just trapped inside of a building in a field where you couldn't have your phone. You couldn't have any food. Your only water was like the water that you would like get from the toilets. And it was like a maze. It was so fucking big. It was 10 stories high. I cannot explain how big that building was. And you were just walking around those 10 floors just trying to find those goddamn items that were marked under like this long of a goddamn code. I genuinely think I lost the last of my brain cells over there. Like, I genuinely think working that job for like 2 months made me a lot stupider. It genuinely made me not have any thoughts anymore, and it made it harder for me to talk and harder for me to just be creative or to be confident even in front of a camera, because I was like, anytime that I would try to make a video, I would be like, fuck, I talk like an idiot. I genuinely cannot talk anymore. And every time I say the word like, I'm like, stop. I have trained myself for years, because that's one of the it's like it's a thing that it's just impulsive. I will say the word like constantly, and if I don't stop myself, if I don't genuinely like physically stop myself, like, don't say that word, I will say it in a sentence 3 or 4 times. And it took me years to constantly be like, no, don't say it, no, don't say it. I would just stop and correct myself, repeat the sentence, try to just say it in a different way so I do not say the word like. And it took me years to get over it. And working at that job for 2 months undid all of that progress. And now I cannot stop saying the word like. And I keep saying it over and over again. And whenever I hear myself in a video, I'm like, oh my fucking god. I keep saying that word every sentence, and it's so infuriating. I just delete whole videos because I'm so infuriated by the fact I've like regressed. And I try to edit out every time I say the word like. I try to edit it out because it just infuriates me so much. And yeah, I have deleted quite a few videos because of that, because it just infuriates me so much that I say that one word. But I was trapped inside of that job for 2 months until I found my current job. I basically begged to be let inside of. I genuinely begged. I was like, please, I don't care. Use me like a fucking puppet. I just don't care. Just give me the job. I need to leave my current job as soon as possible. And I know you will take nearly anyone, so take me as well. So I spent 2 months at that job, and you have this like large scanner in your hand. It's like this fucking big, and like you hold it. Your wrist gets so tired after a while. Like it would hold that machine, and it would tell you the location where to get the item that the person wants, and it would just send you from like one part of the damn building to the other, and then to the middle, then to the back, then to like somewhere in the front, then back to the middle, and so infuriating. I have never walked that much, and there was basically no management at that job. There were like some people who were like under management, but they would not help you for shit. Like I would go there and be like, hey, my scanner doesn't work. Fuck do I do with that? Like it doesn't work. And they'd be like, have you tried turning it off and on? And I was like, yeah. And they'd be like, oh, I don't know. Maybe take another one. I'm like, okay. But if I take another one, can you at least take this one and like repair it? Because it's obviously not working. And they'd be like, oh, I don't know. Just put it back on the charger and maybe it'll work in a while. And I'm like, no. If it's not working, you should get it repaired. You should do something about it. You should file a report that it's not working. You should also give me my fucking time back that I wasted trying to get that fucking thing to work, that I didn't do orders for people because I was fighting this goddamn thing, percentage that you've like done. It went downhill because I just couldn't work because of this goddamn thing that's like not my fault. And they'd be like, oh, I don't do that. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm like, but it's not my fault that this thing doesn't work. Like, it's not my fault, and because of it, I'll get paid less. Like, the more percent you have, like the more items you have done for a customer, the more you get paid. And it's like, if you don't do 100%, you're not gonna get paid, like, any bonuses at all. And I'm like, because I spent like 15 fucking minutes trying to get this thing to work, and then having to climb down from the 9th story down to the bottom floor to tell you like, hey, this shit doesn't work, and then argue with you. I spent God knows how much time just not working. And because of that, I'm not gonna do 100%, and I'm not gonna get paid my bonus. Fix it. And they'll be like, no, like, we don't fix that. Like, it's like, it should be in the algorithm. Like, like, you should still be able to do 100% even if things like this happen. Like, it's all taken into consideration. And I'm like, they're full of shit. But like, how do they expect to keep people that actually are doing their job correctly and doing it good if they treat these people like that? Like, genuinely, most people at that job who were like longer than like 3 months at that job, they would take those clothes, throw them on the ground, step on them, like put them all over the place, like tear up the bags. They would not be giving a fuck because they are trying to hurry up as fast as they can. And they also hate the company because they are underpaying their job. They are underpaying everything they do. And there's so many problems that nobody's fucking fixing. So they're like, I don't fucking care about these customers. I do not care about these customers. I don't care if they get damaged goods. Not my fucking business. You should have paid me more. Yeah, like, how do they expect good workers who actually do their job correctly and do it good if they're going to do this type of shit to them? The only reason I'm not saying the job of the company, even though I would love to say it absolutely everywhere and just make people aware to never go to that fucking place, is because they make you sign a contract. Like, if you're ever going to work a job and they make you sign a contract that you cannot take pictures of anything, you cannot record anything, and that you're not allowed to have a phone with you, and that you cannot tell anybody your experiences working at the job, and you cannot say anything negative online about the job, and you cannot say what happened and how the work ethic was at the job. Fucking run away from that job. I am telling you this. Please run away from that job. That job knows what it's doing, because they're like the worst job ever. Never go to that job. So this company makes everyone sign a contract that's like, if you say our name and if you say anything about our company in a negative light, we will sue you. We will like legally haunt you. And you also were not allowed to have a phone at the job. You had to keep it in like a locker outside of the workplace. You couldn't even take your phone with you when you went to eat lunch. Like, you just couldn't. You couldn't. So they expected you to not have your phone on you for like 10 hours. Just like not use your phone for 10 hours at all. I just think if you are a company that isn't scared to have shit that's like not legal or like inhumane that you are doing be recorded, I just don't think you would have a reason not to allow people to just have a phone inside. They would have constantly, like every week, you have to go to work during the weekend. Like, it is not your choice. And they would do that every week. Like, you every week had to have like overtime. And you would just get like a message on your phone being like, hey, just so you know, overtime this week again. And I'd be like, fuck you, like, you're making me work this much during the week. Like, I'm going up these 10 floors and I'm fucking dying out there. And you're telling me 5 days a week is not enough for you. You want me to work 6 days a week? My health was so bad. Like, I would just not eat. I would not drink. I didn't have time to go to the toilet. Because they were like, I mean, you can go to the toilet. It's just not... It's frowned upon to go to the toilet. Like, go during your lunch break, which is like in 4 hours. Like, for 4 hours, just don't go piss. And then piss when you're leaving for home. You had a timer on your device that had a specific time that if you were like not working, not like basically not scanning items in that set time, it will lock you out and you would need to go to the management for them to unlock the device. And that way it would show that, oh yeah, you were on the toilet for a long time, or like maybe you were talking to somebody, or like maybe you were having fucking technical difficulties and couldn't like do shit. But that's your problem. You have to go to the management, which is on the 0th floor, and they don't care that you're on the 10th story. You have to go completely down and just be like, hey, my device is fucking locked. Unlock it for me. And then they would have to write a paper and like log it and be like, okay, this person spent this amount of time not working. And they would do a whole police interview with you being like, from what time were you not working? Where did you go? Did you talk to anybody? What did you do? Do you have evidence that you were doing this thing? I was like, motherfucker, my shit, like my device just didn't have any Wi-Fi signal. It just would not connect me to the server for me to get a customer's order. So I was like, fuck it. And I went to the toilet. Guess what? They're not on every single floor. They're on 3 specific floors. And if you're not on that floor where the toilet is, you have to travel for a long fucking time. And basically, most people, when they need to piss, they just start running. Like, straight up, they run. I have seen so many people sprint and get hurt because they needed to piss. And they just didn't have time to go piss. Because they were on a floor where there just wasn't any toilets. So they had to go down 3 stories to get to the closest toilet. And they were just sprinting on the stairs trying to get to that fucking toilet in time so it doesn't lock them out of their device. And I'd be like, well, I went to the toilet and then I came back and there was still no signal and then it fucking locked me out. So here I am, and they were like, okay, so what you're telling us is that you were on the toilet for this amount of time. I am so close to just killing somebody, including myself. Holy fuck, do not test me. Oh my god. And when I was leaving the job, like, I got the job I currently have, I was like, okay, how the fuck do I file that I'm, like, leaving the job? And they were like, okay, so you actually can't do it at the company. You have to, like, travel to a different company. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, why can I not hand you the paper that I'm leaving this job at the job? So I was like, okay, I'll go there. I'll give them the paper. And I'll just be able to leave. And I asked them at the job, like, hey, is there anything apart from the paper that I need to do, that I need to, like, bring or take to leave this job? And they were like, no, there's nothing more. You just need a paper saying that you're leaving this job. That's all. And I was like, gotcha. So I traveled there, and turns out I actually didn't even need a fucking paper. They were so used to people handing them resignations like that, they're leaving the job, that they already have templates. Like, they had templates of a person, like, resigning that you just had to fill in, and that was it. I was like, wow, these people have had so many people leave this job that they just have, like, straight up templates that you just fill in, like, 3 things and you're gone, like, you've done it. Oh well. So now I'm at a different job that treats me a bit more like a human being. But yeah, the thing that's been, like, waiting on my heart really badly was just me losing one of the friends for a good reason. But it's still like, fuck, why did you have to be this type of person? Like, why did you have to do this? Like, we could have still been friends. We could have still had fun. I knew they were, like, pretending to be a lot of things, and they would lie. They would just lie every time we talked, and they would lie to a lot of people. But, like, I knew whenever they told, like, a big lie or just, like, a stupid lie, they had indicators to know when they were lying. Like, I could tell that they're lying because of certain things they would do. So I'd be like, okay, like, they're obviously lying. Like, I can see that. And they lived in this like place in the mountains that was, like, far away. They didn't really have job opportunities and stuff. So they took up one job. It was very badly paying. So they took up another job, and it was like they were working at the job 13, 15 hours a day. They desperately just wanted to get out of their job. They were trying to get a job that's, like, further away, like, in a different, like, city or village. Apparently jobs weren't, like, taking them in. So I was like, hey, listen, we've been friends for so long. Like, just live with me. Like, I'll help you find a job. You can move in, And from here, it's easier to find a job. And then when you earn money, you can just go live somewhere else. And they kept being like, maybe I'll think about it. They didn't. So then even other people, like the other friends, were like, hey, like you can live with me. And like, like they were getting sad for them because they were like saying this fucking sob story, how they're so miserable, how they can't find a job and anything. And people were like, hey, you can literally live with us and like have a discount on the rent, or maybe even not pay rent. You have options. And they never like took them. Even before, they were a drinker, like they drank alcohol, but eventually they started being like a full-on heavy alcoholic. One day they got really drunk. Like they would just go to this bar. Like, yeah, I have a friend group at a bar and we like drink together. And I was like, it's not the best. Like, you, instead of wasting money at the bar, which you damn well know is expensive, like everyone was just trying to help them. Instead, they would just keep drinking and just not giving a fuck and just making fun of people for trying to help them. And then one day they were like really drunk and they just wrote to me how they made out with this guy and how it was really awesome and how much they loved it. And I was really shocked because up until that point, they have always, for years that I've known them, for like 7 something, 6, 7 years that I've known them, they've always told me that they hate anything sexual, they hate anything romantic, they hate when people touch them. Like they have a really big aversion. It's like people touching them, kissing them, making out with them, like trying to have sex with them. Like they have a really big aversion to it. They're basically asexual, aromantic. And that they just find it really repulsive to just have contact with another person physically. And I was like, all of these years you've been telling me this, and suddenly you just like make out with a stranger at a bar and you're like, wow, I'm so fun, great experience. Like that's weird. Like that's shocking. Like, yeah, people might change. Like you might, fall in love, or you might like, make out with somebody and be like, wow, that was great. But if for years you've been so vehement about like not wanting to ever kiss somebody, why would you just randomly kiss a stranger at a bar? They were just saying like, yeah, I just decided to do it because like the guy, he was giving me like puppy eyes, basically begging me to make out with him, and I just found it really funny. So I decided to humor him because I really love when like men are really into me, and I love when they like are pathetic and they just think I'm like beautiful and like a goddess, and I love that. Like I love attention on me. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I know you're a shitty person, and I know you like when people just think you're a saint, when people just think you're like a god. Like, I know that. I have known this person long enough to know that about them. But for them to be like, yeah, this man was just like, being pathetic, so I decided to make out with him just for the shits and giggles. It was so out of character for them, because they have always been incredibly disgusted and like vehement about hating people touching them, and how they have had like horrible like molestation like stories and stuff. It was just really shocking. And I was like, hey, maybe it's time to just stop drinking, because like this isn't you. Like this, it's really weird behavior. Like you should stop drinking. Like just drink at home so these things just don't happen. Like you're really not yourself anymore. And then they started like the next day they were like, oh my god, like I've actually sobered up. Like actually that was just drunk me saying that it was great. Like I've sobered up and it was horrible. Like I hated it. It was so terrible and like worst experience, and like, ew, why did I do that? And I was like, okay, I guess. Like I'm pretty sure that when you're drunk, you're still yourself. You're just like your social barrier goes down and you stop controlling yourself so much. So like you're actually more yourself when you're drunk than you are when you're not drunk. Like basically what you do when you're drunk is what you like who you actually are. Like the actions you do when you're drunk, those are your like inner thoughts, basically. A few days later, they sent me voice notes like they're drunk again, like they're really drunk again, and that they're just like walking home from the bar, like they met up with some people and they saw the guy that they made out with again, and they decided like, oh, I'm gonna like make out with this guy again. And so they did. Like they were telling me they like pushed this guy against the wall and just made out with him. And I was like, what the fuck? This really doesn't sound like you. Like this really isn't you. I was weirded out by it. And I talked to a person that I knew talk to them like regularly, like daily. And I was like, hey, did this person tell you about this event? And they were like, yeah, actually, they told me when they first made out with the guy and then when they made out with him again, like I think they like called that person or like sent them voice messages while they were like piss drunk. And basically, they told them that they found the guy really hot and they really liked that the guy was begging them to make out with them. They grabbed the guy and they like kissed him. And I was like, wow, that's really fucking weird. That is so not like them. And then that person told me like, yeah, and then they slipped up and they told me that the guy is a minor. I was like, oh. The first time when they were drunk, they saw a guy who probably obviously looked like a minor. And this kid was like telling them that they're really pretty and that they want to make out with them. And they decided to humor him and make out with him. And even when they found out that, yeah, he's a minor and everything, the next time they met him, they decided to like make out with him again, even though they were like quite a few years older than him, and they fully knew that he was like a minor. Like by this point, you can't even blame it on the alcohol. It's like this person is just more fucked up than I thought. And like that's the thing. Like for years, they've been telling me, because I have always just publicly been like, yeah, I'm just not going to talk to you if you're like making out with minors, if you're like molesting people, if you're like abusive, if you're like just hurting people. Like I'm just not gonna talk to you because it's just like you're just a shit person. Why would I talk to you? They knew that I'm like vehemently against it. And for years, they've been telling me, like, yeah, like, ew, like, I would never, like, touch a mine, like, disgusting, and, like, it's disgusting when people, like, make out, or, like, have sex with minors, or, like, even just like minors, like, that's so fucking disgusting. And for years, they were, like, agreeing with me on that, and being like, yeah, that's fucking disgusting, like, no way, ew. And then they suddenly go and just do that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought at least with, like, this type of stuff, you're not lying to me. Like, what the hell? I was like, okay. Before I just stop talking to them, I just want to see if they will just say the truth. And I asked them, like, hey, how old was this guy that you made out with? And they wrote to me, like, oh, like, don't worry. He was, like, of age. Like, oh, my God, don't worry. And I was like, oh, really? Are you sure he was of age? And they tried to play it off as a joke, and they were like, haha, look at the weather. And I was like, this is not a joke. Like, this is not a fucking joke. Like, they genuinely were just joking around and not taking it seriously for me asking them if they made out with a minor. Like, they were just joking around, like, oh my god, look at the weather, oh my god, haha, teehee. And I was like, this. So basically, by being like this, you've just admitted that they weren't of age. Like, come on. Why would you do this? And they tried to, like, they started justifying it, being like, well, if men, when I was a kid, like, could molest me and could, like, put themselves all over me, why couldn't I? And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, what the fuck do you mean? You should, just by knowing how horrible it is, just by knowing, like, that's my experience, like, these people have hurt me, these people have tried to, like, have sex with me, and I don't want it. I know how horrible it is. I know how it feels. I won't do that to another person because, like, I know how it feels, and I know how bad it is. Like, you just won't do it to another person, you know? Like, you can't justify it. And they were just like, oh, but, like, these older men could, like, try to make out with me, but I can't make out with a minor. And I'm like, yeah, you can't. Like, those men also shouldn't have and can't, like, make out with you. And it's shit that some of them were forcing themselves on you. But that doesn't mean that you forcing yourself onto, like, a minor is justified. I've always talked about, like, let's end the cycle of abuse. We gotta, like, not do the shit that people have done to us. Like, I've always, like, talked about it. They've always agreed, and they were like, yeah, like, I'm never going to do this. I'm also extremely disgusted, and I hate anything sexual, and I will never do anything like that. And then they just go and do it. And I'm like, girl, you cannot, laugh your way out of this and be like, oh my god, like, it's so funny that I made out with a minor. Oh my god, like, it's so funny. Like, no, you just can't. Like, even if we've known each other for years, like, I cannot, turn a blind eye on you. Like, you're not an exception. Yeah, if you watched this video, thank you, I guess. If you had anything similar like this happen to you, you can write it down in the comments. I'd love to, like, hear about it and just hear about other people's experiences. So yeah, bye bye.